So I'm Piers Linney. I'm a former Dragon on Dragon's Den, a venture capitalist, entrepreneur as well, and also quite an active investor. I'm the entrepreneur in residence at the ScaleUp Accelerator. I get involved in different stages in the program. So for example, in week one, I give a talk about scaling your business, what you need to think about, things like operations, having a plan, technology, people, and clearly financing. So what I try and do is sort of share my knowledge, my insight, and then later on in the program, in week 6, I tend to look at your pitches. So go through the pitches and give some honest, often sometimes blunt feedback on what's working and what isn't to maximize your chances of raising finance. So you might know me from TV or being on the board of British Business. So I've been a professional advisor. I'm a non-exec director. I've been an entrepreneur. I've built businesses. I've exited business. So I've literally sat on every single side of that table. So I'm really excited to be involved in the ScaleUp Accelerator and this program. I've known Ian, the founder of the business, for many, many years. And, it's something I'm passionate. So I spend a lot of my time supporting, small businesses of all types. Some are business owners, but I'm also particularly interested in supporting people that take risk. And they're the entrepreneurs, they're the founders. But what's incredibly important are our scale-ups, there are many, many startups, and there's a huge amount of support out there. And quite often scale-up businesses, those that are already in a great position to grow and create considerable value, don't have access to the support, or sometimes they can't afford access to the support they need. And that's what ScaleUp Accelerator does. I'm also a passionate believer in that everyone should have access to capital, access to opportunity, no matter where you come in or what color you are. And that's something that we're a kind of diverse team actually in the ScaleUp Accelerator that we're focused. The core value really that the ScaleUp program brings is it's something that's been designed by entrepreneurs, people like myself, people like Ian and the team, for entrepreneurs. And what we're trying to do is connect great companies, is correct those founders with capital, not just any capital. It's about connecting the right capital and finding the right investor for those businesses. Another important thing that the ScaleUp Accelerator does is introduce companies and founders to networks, and that can be really, really important. If you didn't have access to the right networks, it could take you months, sometimes even years, to break into them and make those connections and find the right people and find the right money and the right investors for your business. What the ScaleUp Accelerator does and what our networks do is accelerate that process. We can open doors that quite often you didn't actually even know the doors are. So let me share a couple of my top tips for anyone thinking of raising a Series A finance. So number one is you've got to be, and you hear this a lot, but people don't quite understand this, you've got to be investor ready. You've got to have the right package, the right documentation, you've done the work, the presentation, even the way you pitch that presentation, you've practiced it. Your financial model is the right kind of model with the right outputs, the right KPIs, things the investors want to see, because they're busy, they see lots of companies. So you've got to make sure that as you go through that door and you engage with these investors, that you're top of their mind and you're top of the list and you've done all the work. That's the first thing. You've got to be ready. Second thing then is to be persistent. Money, it might be a commodity, but it can be very difficult and very time consuming to go and secure it. So don't think that your first roadshow, you'll meet a couple of investors, there's going to be a check in the post following you back at the office. That's not how it works. And what the ScaleUp Accelerator does is and the team actually understand how to manage this process and how to maximize your chance of success and talking to the right people on board. And one of the companies in that cohort has now just gone on to very recently raise, I think it's just over £4 million for a very well respected investment fund. And that's great to see. It's great to see it working. It's great to see our businesses, go ahead and create value for their shareholders.